As far as last week's game goes, hats off to those guys. They did a great job of getting us in some situations late in the game. So we got to make sure that we do a better job coverage-wise, and that's what I'm here for. Looking forward to this week. Alabama State starting quarterback, I believe, is injured. So right now we're looking at possibility of two backups, 12 and 3. They returned the running back. Coach Orlando was at Prairie View A&M last year, is now the OC at Alabama State. So we expect to see a lot of stuff that he was doing at PV last year. They like to utilize a lot of tight ends in their deal, a lot of 11 personnel, 12 personnel deals. So they're going to give us a run-pass look on everything. So we just got to continue to make sure that we're doing a great job of having a good eye discipline, which we didn't have on Saturday. We got to make sure secondary-wise we come down and we tackle. We got to help the front. Our DBs, tell them all the time, we're the most guys on the field on defense, and we got to act like it. We got to play like it. We got to, the most onus is on us and our man coverage and what we're doing to fit the run, so we got to play better.
The defense and the secondary allowed some big plays last year, and it carried over to Saturday.
Correct.
Do you think you took a step back in any way and reverted back to the old ways at all?
No, I don't think we reverted back. I think, like I said, the big thing is just eye discipline. We got a lot of new guys back there. As Coach mentioned, Guy Starworth came in and had 2 good games for us, but he's a new guy at that position. Deion Bonner was a prop guy for us last year after sitting out 2 years after leaving Tennessee. So he's a new guy. He's just getting his legs back under him. He was in the spring practice with us. Nick Peoples not new, but Jamil Jackson only had a few starts last year. So just trying to get those guys to, play together as a cohesive unit, make sure we got great eye discipline, we run into the ball and we're tackling. That's going to be a constant struggle always. We got to be space players. And so out there on the edge, those corners, not necessarily left out on the island, but offensively they can take advantage. Teams can take advantage of us throwing out there quick, putting those guys in situations. So we got to be great tacklers out there on the edge.
When you weren't getting as much pressure in the second half as you were in the first half, what were some of the discussions? Did you talk about maybe scaling back some of the pressure, dropping into coverage more? I mean, you're still bringing pressure, it just wasn't getting there in the second half.
Well, I think part of the lack of the pressure in the second half was normally we do send a lot of pressure. We try to get a lot of people to the quarterback. We try to mix in a little bit of zone here and there, and so when we do that, we take one guy out of the rush. So we gave him a couple of windows to throw it. So what we got to do, coverage-wise, we got to make sure that we're better in our underneath coverage and that we're seeing what we're supposed to see. A couple of times, my flat defenders, they're not looking out to the flats. Their eyes are cocked inside on the quarterback, and they're not running underneath the comeback. So we just got to do a better job underneath coverage.
When you come to work this week and you look at the stats and see 500+ yards and then 463 in the air, how much of a challenge, or does that challenge you as a coach, knowing that you obviously, it's something that you have to fix?
No doubt, man. You're talking about Saturday night, you can't sleep. Sunday morning, you're up here early. So, the big thing is to just get better every week. We got to get better. Saturday is not our measuring stick. It's not what we live up to. It's not what we talk about in our room. So we got to do a better job. So I was in here early yesterday morning, in here early today. We're going to work like we always work, and we're going to continue to get better. Or we're going to make sure that we correct the mistakes that we made, which, like Coach said, some changes will be made. And then from my standpoint, I got to do a better job of playing more guys, like Coach said. We got to play more guys, especially with the man coverage and the stuff that we do. I have to play more guys. Can't just play 6. Got to play more.
Okay.
Coach, how do you shake off a loss like that and bounce back this week?
Really, you don't shake it off. You shake it off, but for us right now, we're focusing on corrections of the mistakes we made and pointing out to our guys where we had a chance to make plays and didn't.
What have you noticed so far with the offensive line? Coach seems to think that the physicality has obviously improved since last year.
Well, what we have different this year is we have a little bit of competition at the position. We got some guys who came in and they're fighting for position, so guys are having to step their game up to be able to maintain their position and maintain their playing time. Our goal in recruiting was to go out and find guys who could create competition up front for us, and I think we brought some guys in who are pushing the guys who are starting, and it's helping us out a little bit as far as, getting movement on the running game and in pass protection. It's improving their overall game.
Did you see that with the 200 or almost 200-yard rushing? I don't know how many times y'all had that last year.
You see it, but as an O-line coach, I'm never going to be satisfied, to be honest with you. And my kids know it, and they know I'm going to I can find something wrong with every play. So we're going to strive for perfection. May not get it, but I'm still going to ask for it.
What's it look like this week?
It looks tough, and I say tough just because they got a lot of returning starters on defense. They came down here last year, and we didn't answer the call, and so that's a challenge for us up front this year is to answer the call, and to be prepared to come out and be more physical than we were the week before. They got a big guy up front. Number 94 is about 6 foot, 6'1", 350 pounds. I mean, he's a big guy. He's a load. He plays strong. And there's another big guy behind him, so in the middle, they got the experienced linebacking core, led by number 32. Coach's joke that we don't know how long he's been playing, but he's been in there for a long time with that linebacking core. And then in the secondary, they got a cornerback, number 14, who, does a good job of helping those guys get lined up and know what they're supposed to be doing in the back end. So it's going to be a good game, but we look forward to it.
What do you remember about the game last year? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but that game, if you won, would have wrapped up the division instead of having to go play the following week at Southern, or could at least tied.
Actually, they're on the other side, so basically they started the losing streak.
Right.
And that's what I remember. And that's what I'm thinking. We need to go down there and put a game plan together and come away with a win. For our guys, it's about just looking at this week and making sure we take care of this defensive line and this linebacker core. Up front, I'm speaking as an offensive lineman, of course.